The Ultra League is coming back later today. Let's take a look at what changed with the new updates of this season. And as well, if you want to have another video for the Ultra League Premier Classic Cup, which is coming out later as well, leave a like on the video and subscribe to not miss the video coming up later. We're going to take a look at the meta here real quick. We're going to see that Registeel is actually now way more important than before. Registeel was already pretty decent here, as this Pokemon will now be able to beat those flying types. Flying types will be more common now, as we have Pidgeot now being more common, and also something like Charizard is more common, as we can take a look at those Wing Attack users. Gliscor now also as a Shadow version at rank 5. You don't even need XLs for the Gliscor, which is cool. For Charizard you have it really high. Pelipper and Noctowl both got buffed as well with this, and Mantine as well. All of those don't hit the 2500 CP. Actually, Noctowl only gets to 2288, which kinda shows how strong Noctowl still is. Like, you have more than 200 CP less than your opponents, and you're still going to be at rank 42 here in this league, which is kind of insane. Moltres is still fine, but otherwise after those it kind of drops down a little bit. There are not a lot more good Wing Attack users. By the way, I think Staraptor actually has some play, and we have also some team, I think, which has this in there, or like has some potential for it in there later on. We can take a look at the general meta. You're going to see more steel types like Cobalion now. Cobalion going to have more play. Why? Cobalion has access to a Stone Edge, and as well like Sacred Sword beating the steels, plus also the flying types, which is going to be a pretty common core. Also going to be able to beat something like the Walrein, which I expect to be more common now as well. Walrein going to be still pretty strong, even though it's only at rank 23 here. Something that's also kind of worth mentioning is Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is a Pokemon that has access to Water Gun and Surf, which will be able to destroy something like the Charizard as well as the Gliscor, which both got buffed right now and is pretty solid in general. Also very good against Cobalion. So there are some winners and some losers for the meta update here. I think Verizon, like in general, fighting types, steel types going to be more common, Tapu Fini going to have more play. What kind of loses more play, I guess, are more fighting types. Like, I don't know if you really want to run something like Buzzwole anymore, because it seems a little bit risky for that one there. Of course, you have other fighting types here, like the Cobalion, which don't really struggle too much with like flying types. Those gain, but like those are double weak to flying type moves, or in general flying type weak Pokemon are a little bit tricky to play. Aurorus is actually, especially for the Premier Classic version of it, but also here, one of the coolest core breakers, as you're going to be able to destroy A, those new flying types, but also B, the Walrein, which is really important for this matchup. As you know, has access to a Meteor Beam. I think Aurorus is going to be the best anti-meta Pokemon that you can run, which most likely not a lot of people will do because it's a little bit riskier, but definitely a very cool Pokemon to take a look at. And let's also take a look at some more teams. The first team here you most likely already know, kind of similar from my Great League videos already. We're going to have the Swampert in the lead. We're going to have Double Bird in the back. Swampert will be able to counter those steel types that you don't want to face with your birds. Also counters those electric types, which is really nice for you. While you have the Say Swap here of the Staraptor, if you have an XL version of Noctowl, which I actually have, this would be also a way to use it here. You have going to have the Pidgeot now in the back. Pidgeot, actually Pidgeys are spawning again in Pokemon Go, so you should be able to get some easy XL candy for this Pokemon as well. Otherwise you can also use it as a buddy, because 1 kilometer, or like if you give it a Puffin here, like it only takes half a kilometer to get 1 XL candy for it, which is kind of nice. But yeah, like this team already been really decent in the Great League for me, and I think in the Ultra League it might be even a little bit better. You have more bulk here, and you have also an interesting Say-So. I think like that the Close Combat plus Brave Bird of your Say-Swap here might be very decent in this meta, as you have a ton of Pokemon that are weak to both of those typings there. So yeah, that's going to be it for the first team. Let's go into the second. The second team here going to be a team with the Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini going to be able to do a ton of damage against a lot of Pokemon in the Open Ultra League meta. Talonflame, which going to still be available. Charizard, which is still going to be like way more common now. The Gliscor, all of them die pretty easily to the Tapu Fini. We're going to have the Say Swap here of the Cobalion. There's a little bit of an issue here if you face something like a Trevenant in the lead, you're still going to be okay doing some damage with your C-swap here though. Of course, if you don't have the Trevenant in the lead, but they swap into you, you have the best answer in the back here again with the Pidgeot. You can use other flying types in the back there as well, but you kind of need an answer for grass type Pokemon, especially like with your lead there. Normal other grass type Pokemon are, by the way, totally fine for this team because you have a decent Pokemon for this. It's just the extra typing of Trevenant, of course, makes it such a good Pokemon in the meta anyway, because it beats more Pokemon that it should have beaten. But like, yeah, definitely a cool team here as well, but the next team going to be pretty similar towards it. The next team is pretty similar than the one before, but this time it's just flipped basically. We're going to have the Pidgeot in the lead, we're going to have the C-swap here of the Cobalion. Again, having access to Stone Edge going to be so important in the new meta. Based around wing attack users, we're going to have the Registeel in the back, but you can also run, again, the team that I also showcased before last season, the Verzian in the back. Definitely like a team that still should work from like last season, but Registeel, if you have a Registeel, would be very decent in the back. Registeel itself is, I think, the best Pokemon really still in the Ultra League meta right now, but it's kind of tricky to get them. Myself, actually, have a rank 1 version for the Ultra League, which is super, super rare. I don't know, I don't actually know a single other person that has that. But I don't have the XL kidney, so I cannot really use it anyway. So yeah, this team definitely still works though. Hopefully Registeel comes back into raid soon, because it's actually pretty nice for the Ultra League. The next team here going to be around Auroras and also the Gliscor together. Basically, your lead here is supposed to counter those Swampert, which I think going to be a little bit more common this time around, especially like for Gliscor and also the Auroras there. You're going to most likely want to use the Auroras as a safe swap, but actually I think maybe Gliscor might be better. Gliscor is still going to be able to deal with a lot of the counters towards it, so like you still should be fine with that. It's a little bit tricky against like something like Walrein, which actually your lead is supposed to win against as far as I know, with Leaf Blade and also the fast move double kick. But then you kind of get out of the way either the Swampert or whatever in the back that the Auroras can sweep, but it really depends on what you face. If you face more Pokemon like, I don't know, like Walrein in the back or whatever, then maybe Auroras might be the better safe swap for it, because you're still going to have the lead for it. But if you face a lot of Registeel, which might be more like higher elo range, I think that the safe swap of the Gliscor might be a little bit better, because your best Registeel counter is the elite, but Gliscor still will be able to pretty easily deal with a Registeel, so it really depends on what you're going to face, I think. The next team is actually a little bit more similar than I thought towards the first team here. I actually thought just using the double fire birds in the back, but then I kind of took a look at it again a little bit and saw this might be a little bit of no weakness against a dragon type, so depending on what you face in the meta again, you can go for a double fire birds in the back, which I liked personally a lot. But if you actually want to try to get some better matchups, maybe actually having Auroras in the back here and the Charizard as your safe swap might be a cool option, because Charizard, again, going to be able to bait out potential water type Pokemon. You're going to have now Wing Attack, which is a legacy move. You really need Wing Attack, to be fair. If you, like, I saw a lot of comments, by the way, before on like videos about Charizard from me as well, where people asked, oh, is it worth it to use really elite TMs on this Pokemon? 100%. I really like this Pokemon. It's also such a fun Pokemon to play, because you have the nuke of Blast Burn, you have a good bait move with Dragon Claw, which also gives you some more coverage, and the typing itself plus Wing Attack is just so much better than other Pokemon. Like, definitely worth using all the elite TMs on this Pokemon for sure. But yeah, I think it might be even better than the team before. And yeah, then again, if you face a lot of dragon types that you don't really want to, like, that you have nothing to beat with, maybe the Auroras in the back might be a little bit better. If you don't have an Auroras, then maybe use the Talonflame, because you can still Brave Bird dragons as well, so it's not the worst matchup either. But I think this is definitely a cool team, especially with the Auroras in the back. This is like very nice. Kinda want to play it. The next team, speaking of dragon types, has 2 of them in there. We're going to have the Swampert in the lead, which is, I think, this most likely is the most accessible team. We're going to have the Swampert and the Dragonite in there. Both of them can be Shadow. Both of them, I think, are better as a Shadow Pokemon here as well. We're going to have the safe swap of the Giratina, which was also just recently in raids again, so I think a lot of people have Giratina. And then the Dragonite in the back should be pretty fine for this as well. The cool thing about Giratina is it is insane bulk. You don't really need even a traded one for it, and you have access to the move Ancient Power. Ancient Power recently got buffed, which allows it now to do a lot of damage against the main charm users, which are Lone and Ninetales or the Togekiss, so both of them don't really want to face you either. But you're also going to do extra damage now against something like the Charizard, which is now in the meta. So also against the Auroras, you have a super effective move, so I don't think there's any reason for you at all anymore to run Shadow Sneak on it, or like the signature move Shadow Force on, because it's a horrible move. But as a safe swap, I think this might be one of the coolest one. The little bit of a struggle here might be against something like Trevenant, but Giratina and the 2 shields is actually pretty fine, unless they like bait you twice, but like you should be pretty okay with it. And also the Dragonite in the back should be pretty fine, but this team as well is like one of the teams that you should definitely should try out there. Should work out pretty well. The next team going to be basically the pay-to-win team here. We're going to have the Steelix in the lead. You can also run either Registeel or the Stunfisk there. The thing with Steelix here is you have a better matchup against Trevenants, which you'd kind of want to have. It is pretty decent against all the flying type Pokemon here. Going to have the Saysop of the Cresselia, which is still the bulkiest Pokemon, having access to Grass Knot plus either Future Sight or Moonblast. I think in nowadays meta you can actually make a case for not running Moonblast but Future Sight for like fire type Pokemon. And then you have in the back there as a closer the Deoxys, which doesn't want to face any of those ghost type Pokemon which you can bait out prior, where you have Crunch in the lead with. But yeah, this is basically the pay-to-win team here. There are mostly some better teams that you can also run with Deoxys defense. It's a little bit of a trickier Pokemon right now, but I think it has some potential, especially with those flyers available, so you have access to Rock Slide. Otherwise, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comment section what Pokemon are you going to run and which team you're going to run. Are you even playing the Ultra League version, or are you going to play the Ultra League Premier League version? Premier League, that's football league, but yeah, Premier Cup version. You're going to see a video about this in around 6 hours from now, so see you then and have a great rest of your day. Bye!